The five of them had talked about it for months, leaving the noise, the neighbors, the bills, and the constant grind of the city. They wanted freedom, real freedom. So when Marcus found 10 acres of cheap land deep in the Nevada desert, he convinced his friends to come help him start an off-grid homestead. A fresh start, a blank canvas. The sun was sinking by the time their SUV rolled to a stop on the dusty property. The sky glowed orange and purple, the kind of view people paid money to see. Out here, it was free. Marcus stepped out grinning, spreading his arms wide like he was showing off a mansion instead of an empty patch of land. Kenny cheered, Dree filmed everything for his off-grid series, and Tasha tried to pretend she wasn't already missing her apartment. Leela stood apart from the others, rubbing her arms as she stared out at the endless stretch of desert. Something felt wrong to her. Not dangerous, yet just wrong. It was quiet, too quiet. No wind. No insects buzzing. Not even the distant call of a desert bird. Just a thick, heavy silence that clung to the air like a warning. But the others didn't notice. They were too busy hyping themselves up for a new life, one that would last less than a single night. Marcus unfolded a map, excitedly pointing out where they'd build the fire pit, the water tanks, the cabin. But as he talked, the air around them seemed to shift. Not in temperature, no breeze, no chill. It was pressure. A weight settling over the land. Leela felt it first. Then Tasha. Then slowly, the others grew quiet, turning their heads like they expected to see someone watching them. That's when the shimmer appeared. Far off across the sand, the air bent and wavered. At first it looked like heat waves rising off asphalt, but the temperature had already dropped with the setting sun. And these waves didn't move naturally, they warped, pulsed, and split like something enormous was breathing just beneath the surface of the world. Before anyone could speak, the SUV's alarm exploded through the silence. They all spun around. The SUV rocked once. Then again. Then it lifted. All four wheels rose off the ground as if giant hands had wrapped around it and picked it up like a toy. Tasha screamed, Dree froze with his camera raised, and Kenny stumbled backward, yelling Marcus's name like Marcus had any answers. A deep, metallic groan ripped through the desert as the roof began to peel back. The steel tore open as easily as wet paper. Windows burst outward, tires flew across the sand, and the engine twisted in on itself as though crushed by an invisible vice. The SUV hit the ground in a mangled heap, smoking and unrecognizable. The desert went silent again. But the friends weren't imagining it anymore. Something was there with them. They felt it. Not as a sound, not as a shape, but as a pressure in the air, a presence pushing against their skin, circling them, studying them like prey. The hairs on their arms rose, their breaths fogged even though the night wasn't that cold. Then the sound came. A low, distorted hiss that didn't come from one direction, but all directions at once. Marcus whispered the only thing he could. Run! The five of them sprinted into the darkening desert, leaving behind the shredded remains of the car that brought them there. Leaving behind their supplies, their water, their safety, their hope. Ahead of them, 8 miles of pitch-black desert. Behind them, something they could not see, but absolutely could feel. They had come searching for freedom. Instead, they had stepped into a place the desert itself seemed to reject. They had entered 8 miles to nowhere.